On Hockey is for Everyone night, the San Jose Sharks share the wealth in goals and assists, especially from the blue line. We'll talk about that and remind everyone how hockey is for everyone right now on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is March 31st, 2021. The San Jose Sharks sweep the Minnesota Wild 4-2. I assume they're calling it Kane's goal. We call it that way, but we're going to do it right now on Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interview Sharks postgame show. We do this after every show, home and away. So if you want to be part of the show, Teal together and chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. Follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Of course, you're watching us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. It really goes a long way, and we appreciate each and every one of you who have already. Of course, the SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course, our Discord for our after-show chats. And you can find everything at tealtownusa.com. And with that, I say hello. Hope you're doing all right, everyone. Let me readjust here a little bit. Here, running solo here on the evening. The Sharks win 4-2 over the Minnesota Wild. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Wednesday evening. It's a little hot in the Bay Area. We'll see how long this with the Sharky game worn jersey lasts. But going to the chat a little bit more tonight, since I am running solo, to hear your thoughts on tonight's game. Pardon the mic, of course, trying to readjust here, but we appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Again, it does go a long way. The Sharks coming off a victory against Minnesota in the shootout the other night. Of course, Erik Karlsson had probably one of his better regular season games as a San Jose Shark, and they were going for a sweep, and I see Vegas got their asses handed to them by LA. There's something in the air on the West Coast. I don't know. Scoot a skosh to the right. Thank you, Hockey Jerk. Hope I almost feel like I'm a little way off there, but you know what? A little hot, and you wear the heaviest jersey in the Sharks lineup. Of course, it's SJ Sharky. Of course, you got to go. But yeah, getting into this game early on, you had the puck over glass penalty, back-to-back games for Minnesota taking that call. Nothing would transpire, along with the the Burns tripping call there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say Kirill Kaprizov. Yeah, I hope you have some Russian diving techniques that you're going to get ready to go to the Olympics for later this year. But, man, I think originally, Burnsy got that little, what is it, stick on stick a bit, and then the flop of Kaprizov, not exactly best, and Burnsy was fired up for that, and I think it kind of changed the way Burnsy was going at it. Let's remember, folks, he's gone, and again, he didn't score tonight, but he hasn't been getting as many points, but at least he showed up along with the defense today. Let's be honest here. The defense showed up today. David H., I was just about to mention Martin Jones. Jones is positioning himself so much better right now. Definitely getting some work, likely from Evgeny Nabokov, trying to get things back in shape. Let's be real here. I mean, Jones has not been great, but the last couple of weeks with the Albatross, I would think of maybe the Arizona game. He's looking good. You look, pretty good. Or if you want to be, curb your enthusiasm, pretty good. It's what it is. But nothing would happen through the first period. And then things started escalating, in the second period. Rudolph Balcers gets that nice feed, a little bit of sauce, a spicy meatball, I guess you could say. Feeds it over to Balcers. Balcers gets it in for his fourth of the season. Hurdle and Burns. Burns with that beautiful headman pass to Hurdle to set it up to make it 1-0 San Jose. And then at 7:55, you'd have Fiala taking that slash. That was dumb. What do you think? Ooh, you're slashing EK65. Like, that's not going to bite you in the butt. It bit you in the butt. Ryan Donato, who I absolutely love that he was screening. I've been wanting somebody to be screening, the goaltender for years. Top of my head is zoom out a bit. Oh, okay, but it looks really like the. Let's see, how's that, people? We'll get that there. There we go. But it looks, whoa, there we go. But here's the thing. I love Ryan Donato being in front of the net. It agitates Kakkonen. It agitates the goaltender. So what happens? What happens now? He's agitated, looking for the shot. He's a little discombobulated. It gets over to Ryan Donato on a rebound. He slips it home to make it 2-0. Burns and Ferraro getting the assist there. So you have Burns on both. You get 2 assists on there. You have Ferraro joining in, and then the craziness starts. Then the craziness starts as the Sharks keep moving onward in the third period, and they really showed up, especially with granted, Kaprizov makes it 2-1 with a nice shot. Wrister Jones had a lot of traffic in there, but then Nikolai Knyzhov, and he gets credit for the game-winning goal on this one with a wicked wrister that beats Kakkonen in there. You get Carlson in there. Hurdle gets an assist. About halfway through the period, things start looking pretty good now. You're thinking, okay, we got this. And Knyzhov makes it 3-1. Carlson gets an assist on that one along with Hurdle to really, let's be real here. Knyzhov, first NHL goal, and he's done very well. I've been hard on him a little bit. I've been really hard on him just because of, some of the iffy calls or iffy penalties he's taken, over the course of time. But give credit where credit is due. Knyzhov. I'll take Russian pronunciation for 200, Alex. Knyzhov, forgive me. Nikolai Knyzhov, with a nice wrister to make it 3-1. Beautiful execution, great setup. That means, let's see, you had Burns, you have Ferraro, Knyzhov, Carlson, outside Šimik and Vlasic. All the defense were on the score sheet tonight. Definitely nice to see. Of course, Minnesota would be coming back and forth, but also that little brawl. Okay, I get Couture might have slipped up with Kaprizov, but then Kaprizov comes back at the Sharks, takes a hit at Couture. Then the guys come back and defend their captain, and then all of a sudden, Ryan Hartman takes a cross check back in there, and it's like, oh shoot! Now the guys are getting nasty, and Hartman. Not only that, Kane would go back and give him a couple of shots and everything. But while the one thing I didn't like is that when when Evander Kane is getting held up with the linesman, Hartman, who's being trying to be held back from it with a teammate, or I think that was Couture that was trying to hold them up, takes a sucker punch at Kane, and which makes Kane goes even more nuts. They both get matching penalties, but you know what? You kind of got under their skin, and really, outside the late end when Patty took a high sticking call, didn't look like Minnesota was going to do much for a team that's very dangerous, especially with Kaprizov. I must say, too bad at all. However, Zuccarello gets credited for it, not Fiala, as I gifted. Would make it 3-2 as he tipped home the Fiala shot as they just threw the puck on net to get anything and making things interesting. Of course, it would come to the end there with Evander Kane getting his 15th on the empty netter, and Couture would get an assist on that to wrap up the scoring. The Sharks win this one 5-2. They get their second straight win. They've won 4 of their last 6. If you want to look as the optimistic one, unfortunately with LA beating Vegas tonight, they don't gain any ground really in the playoff chase. And yes, I know there are some people who are just tired of us calling it a playoff chase. A lot of you, I know, want that rebuild. But at this point, I can't see the boys saying, why would we want to rebuild? It doesn't make any sense. So, welcome all of you to Teal Town After Dark. If you're new here, thanks for watching. I'm PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Appreciate each and every one of you joining us. We're getting some comments from the chat and also in the locker room. So let's kind of scroll back up here as we take a look at some of the comments we got going on here. Again, good to see you all. From Bob Bugner, we didn't give up a lot. No major turnovers. We stuck to the plan from the drop of the puck. Always nice to see. Came in and came prepared to play, which I don't think was happening in Arizona. Jerk, talking about Knyzhov, he definitely takes too many penalties, but his skating and his defensive awareness up there, such a smart player. Completely agree with you, Jerk. Yeah, the penalties, I get on him because he can be a skosh, to use our friend AJ's term, a skosh, a little lazy or doesn't move the feet, but that's probably with the entire team, to be honest. And that's coming from the chief of at Teal Town USA, Hockey Jerk. Got you in there, buddy. Bugner continues on. These are big wins. We have to take our home game on the road with us so we can stay with the pack and try to move up. Yep. Completely agree there, Bob. You got to be, you definitely, and here's the thing, you're not fancy, you're not getting fancy for fans, which is nice. So you can play your home game on the road if possible. Yeah, you get the last change. You don't get your face, you're not dropping the face-offs, right away. But you're definitely can, I think, make an easier transition for your home game to play on the road. Not to be confused by having our home games played at home. We're putting Knyzhov in big situations, and he's responding. He's got all the tools you need to play a long time in this league. It's a great find for our organization. And you hear that, and I keep thinking, okay, well, maybe that's why Doug Wilson Jr. and Doug Wilson and the scouting staff were so, what's the word here I'm looking for? We're so forward with drafting forwards in the draft last year. They knew that they need to replace the scoring. They still do, I think. We've talked about it ad nauseum with losing those goals from Donskoy, which we'll get to a wraparound for sure. So let's keep those likes going and make sure you hit up the Venmo for the donation for the wraparound at Teal Town USA. But here's the thing, you get going with the forwards here, and you definitely are banking on your defense to being the key guys that you have. You have the guys that are in the organization right now are the ones that you are going to need now in a few months. If you decide, if you go on a run down the road in a few years, of course, Merkley is with the CUDA, and You guys, I think, and gals, and everybody else, you all know that, well, not gonna lie, you know, thing prospects can be developed very roughly here. I just think, it's if you have the pieces, you can make some happen. But if you don't, then you're in deep, deep doo doo. Alex Beltran, F in a rebuild. He played to win the game. You know, uh, it's one of those things where what do you do? You're kind of getting back into it, and that's what makes those losses in Vegas earlier in the month, those losses in Arizona, a little rougher. And honestly, you need the game. You need to step it up. You need to find a way to win. If you're going to make the run, which I would have to say the guys are probably wanting to do in the locker room, they don't want to have guys replaced with, top-notch draft picks. Are you kidding me? Why would they want to tank right now? At least in my mind. Continuing on from Bob Bugner, I liked how aggressive we were in the D zone. We were really physical tonight. That's the blueprint for how we want to play. Even on the broadcast tonight with Randy and Hetty, they were giving credit to Timo Meier finishing his checks, being a little more physical, which is something that's needed in his game. Yeah, he didn't get on the score sheet tonight, but you need to find those ways to contribute outside of being, an offensive powerhouse, which you should, especially if you're getting them paid the money that Timo Meier is getting paid. So, continue on. After a couple of periods, they were switching up their lines, trying to find something. We responded well. Bugner on Knyzhov, some more. It was a great shot and a huge goal. I think you're going to see his game keep growing. I think there's more to his game. Yeah, the sky's the limit, Knyzhov wearing a ridiculous wig in the postgame says, Tommy told me I had to wear it. Well, we all know who that is, and that's Tomas Hurdle. Yeah, you have to wear the wig. Therefore, you have to celebrate your first goal. Yeah, of course you have to do it for sure. Yeah. Julio saying Meier needs a goal. Yeah, he's on a little bit of a Benjamin. Yeah, when I saw that, I was kind of surprised. And I think Minnesota's got the number 3 PK, but they have the worst power play in the league. Just hasn't clicked. And as Sharks fans, we all know how about a power play that doesn't click sometimes. Oh my gosh. Pardon the water break there. 2 games back with 7-9 against LA and Anaheim. It is very possible. Yeah, it is very possible. I mean, anything's possible. Like the Sharks could have beat Arizona, and we'll get into the wraparound, fingers crossed, hopefully. Apparently you can score goals on Arizona tonight. Just ask Jonas Donskoy. And here's the other thing. I think now or never, though, this weekend is huge. Yeah, you're getting ready as you get out on the road for a couple of games. Now, I mean, you have a nice schedule coming up in my mind, as the Sharks will head down south for a couple of games. They'll they'll play 2 against LA this weekend. Come home for 1 home game against the Ducks, and then 9th and 10th, Friday and Saturday, they'll play LA. So a little bit of a pause in the schedule, per se. You're not getting the Monday, Wednesday that you've been getting throughout the year, and along with the Friday, Saturday back-to-back. But the Friday, Saturday back-to-backs, they're going to be going. And remember, the Sharks have the most back-to-backs in the league with 12 this season. And, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, your next 6 games go at LA, home to Anaheim, home to LA, home to LA, home to Anaheim, and another home in Anaheim. So the next 7 are against Anaheim in LA. You can pick up points. The guys need to stay the confidence, and they can't let up. If they want to make a run for the playoffs, they can make a huge push right now. That being said, if it all falls apart after that, well, then it all falls apart, and then you make some, you'll have to make some decisions there for sure. So, Gooey in the chat, is Drew going to fill in for Brody while he works for the A's? No. For those who aren't fortunate to watch the pregame with Brody and Curtis, Brody's last Sharks broadcast is tonight, or was tonight. Laura Britt, I believe, does the 49er pre and post game shows. Will be taking over for him the rest of the season. Just with the contingencies, with everything, with the COVID protocols that they have at NBC, he's not going to be able to do both the rest of the way. And of course, there's always that overlap. Of course, also there's going to be the time where the Sharks are going to be strictly on the NBC Plus channel, the NBC Sports California Plus channel. So you're going to be looking out for that. You watch your local listings. Of course, if you're streaming, that's a whole different story for you. So, yeah. And there he is. Laura Britt is filling in for him. Sharks last, thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. Puck Guy's hurdle impersonation is better than Brody's jumbo impersonation. But you know what? I do love Brody's impersonation of Jumbo. So you love to see it. You love to see it. So, and we love to see you. We have 46 watching, and we appreciate each and every one of you joining us. So, welcome over to Teal Town After Dark. The Sharks win 4-2 over the Minnesota Wild. The Sharks win 2 straight. If you want to look at the standings right now, per se, at this one, the Sharks get to now 34 points on the campaign. They sit 4 points out of a playoff spot. Granted, they're in 7th place in the Western Division. That's not sponsored by us, so you're not getting any love with the sponsoring, okay? So. Nolan Green, what's up, ladies and gents? Do you all think the Sharks can finesse a playoff spot? It's possible. Is it probable? I don't know. You have LA and Arizona above you to catch St. Louis. You played fairly well against St. Louis. Fortunately, that season series is over, so there's not going to be any head-to-heads. But if you play like this today, they should be able to. And that's where they think. I mean, the play that the Sharks have had over the last few weeks, yes, again, you had the hiccup in Arizona. You had the hiccup in Vegas. And they're not necessarily hiccups, more than like, they just fell apart in those games in Vegas. At least 2 points they should have had in there. You could argue that they had 4 on there, so, I don't know. It's one of those things where if you go on a run, watch out. But the thing is that this team also needs some talent forward-wise. I mean, come on. This is the talent that they have. And I've been on record for a number of shows now saying they have the talent to get in and do some damage. I think I it is the Sharks preview show because, yours truly loves the Teal, loves the Sharks, has some optimism on everything. Plain and simple, I thought they could get into the playoffs and beat Vegas in round 1. That's me. Now, right now, Vegas is in 2nd place. And at the moment, so they wouldn't be playing them. They might be getting Colorado, which I think is even a tougher assignment for them more than anything. But, who knew? Who knows? Who knows? You have guys like Dino Botrix. A 1 to 2 year retool, I think, would be ideal. Get in on the Shane Wright sweepstakes next season, then bounce back strong. You have that, but then, you also have you also have people like PJ. PJ, hey, good to see you, bud. Who thought the Sharks would get this kind of play from Nikolai Knyzhov all season after they already had surprises from Šimić and Ferraro? Yeah. Every time you have like a Lukas Radil who's a flash in the pan, and granted we're comparing forwards and defense, it's you love to see the guys actually coming through. Ferraro came straight up from UMass. Šimić had cup of coffees here and there with the CUDA and then the Sharks, and of course the injuries come into play. And honestly, I think Booter mentioned it in the prior to the morning skate. Is that honestly, there's a lot of guys that are not 100%. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how bad this team is once their season is over, and you hope they're not severely banged up, because you hate for them to have a rough start going into next season for it. But we're still in this season. The Sharks have played 35 games. They got 21 to go. We're almost at the, judging by my math, let's see, 56 in the 3. We're just about to hit that 2/3 pole. We're coming down the stretch, and and down the stretches as they come. But to me, they can do it. I mean, look, I'm looking at the standings right now. Arizona we have a game on hand on Arizona. The Sharks do. Wow, I just did a little Hetty and Honorisms. They're at 37 points. St. Louis, who holds down the 4 spot, is at 38, and they've played the same amount of games as the Sharks. LA does have a game in hand on San Jose at 14-14-6 with 34 points. The other thing to remember too, the Sharks won a lot of those games in the shootout early on. So while they're 15-16-4 on the campaign, they only have 9 regulation wins. And of course, that's the first tiebreaker right now. So that's not going to help them out too much. So down the road, let's be honest here, they're going to have to win a lot of these games in regulation. You can't be handing out points, like they're Easter candy. You just can't. And if you're going to keep that going, you're just handing out, more opportunities and not making as much ground as you possibly could. And a lot of people are saying if they're playing Colorado, they're good luck. And that's true. It's not going to be easy. Either way, either it's Colorado, Vegas. Yes, they've played well against Minnesota. Yes, they played well against St. Louis. You kind of, and here I am going to be the full on optimistic for a moment. Okay. If you somehow get out of that first round and it's Minnesota or St. Louis, I'd say the Sharks have a shot. I mean, right? I would say the Sharks would have a shot if they were to get out of the first round and take on Minnesota or St. Louis. Heck, you could say Vegas or Colorado and be the upstart team, but you definitely need to have a hot goaltender, and you definitely need to keep playing the way you've been playing the last couple of weeks. So, looking at some of the other comments that are on here from Ryan Donato, the things that we talk about, we're finally starting to do. Yeah, I mean, there you go. The things that they are doing, trying to get the flow going, trying to get everything going, it's going to be crazy. And it's good that they found their game. It took 35 games, and normally in an 82 game season, I'd be down. I'd be totally down. You'd still have a half a season to play and could get into it. If this were an 82 game season, I think they can get back into it. So St. Louis is banged up. Yeah, St. Louis is banged up. You saw Finn mentioning tonight, Bolts lost back-to-back to the Wings. No night is a freebie. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. I think I retweeted Jamie Hirsch on the Teal Town Twitter saying it doesn't hurt because Minnesota has a tough schedule. They play Vegas tomorrow night. And they're going to have a tough schedule. Could you see a regression for Minnesota? No, I think they're really good. Kakkonen, while he let in 3 goals tonight, I thought he's a great goaltender, a great find for Minnesota. Kaprizov, something special. He got his 12th goal this season in this game tonight. And those are the guys the Sharks are going to need to take on for years to come. Because deep down inside, you're going to have the speedy wingers who can take the wrist shots. And that's always been the tough part for the Sharks. It is the speedsters with skill. The Sharks have to use their bang, and get their bang for their buck, literally, AJ, what's happening, bud? Thanks for all the quotes earlier, too. Kudos to everybody. Blues are banged up and have 17 of 20 versus the top 3 teams. Good luck with that. And we have our friends from Let's Go Blues Radio on occasion, and they're concerned. I mean, that's the thing. The Blues are going to have a struggle. Can LA get in? I mean, honestly, if anybody's going to take St. Louis's spot, it'd probably be LA. But at the same time, though, the Sharks are slowly trying to make things happen. Now, granted, there you go. Buffalo won a game. Anything can happen, people, right? But of course you need the team to become a team, and I think they're slowly starting to become a team. Minnesota is reaping the benefits of being patient. They waited several years for Kaprizov and Kakkonen. Yeah. That's why they were able to move Devin Dubnyk to San Jose. That's why they were able to move Ryan Donato to San Jose. They're making the moves, and that's not just Bill Guerin, but previous management as well. We won't talk about the Paul Fenton era. Yikes. Go figure that 2 former Sharks were GMs of the Minnesota Wild, and an original Shark is their head coach, which was kind of interesting to see out there. So, AJ, tell me if we got a donation tonight for the wraparound. Of course, any donations on the super chat, we get some of that. If you donate us to via Venmo, that goes as well to help us out. So really appreciate each and every one of you joining tonight for sure. Pardon me while I moisten the palate. Terrific, right? Not too bad for 33 minutes. But we got to kind of talk about it. I know I'm waiting for it to happen, but come on, there is some surprising scores on tonight's action. Indeed, but Philadelphia, you talk about a team that's frustrating. You got oh gosh, I almost said Zuccarello, but Zuccarello's with Minnesota. Zibanejad. My goodness. My goodness, he throws 6 points on the Flyers within a couple of weeks of each, or not even that, like within a week of each other. And the Rangers blow them out so many times. Then Philly comes in and goes down to Buffalo 3-0, and then they come back to win in overtime. And then tonight happened. That's just crazy. Yeah. So, PJ saying, you guys weren't lying. Minnesota may have original Sharks coach, but we have the original helmetless Shark as a GM and DW. Yeah, and I didn't mention it on the broadcast the other night that it was Doug Wilson's 1300th game on Monday night as a general manager. That's a great one to see. Around the league, I mean, Aaron Ekblad. Oh my gosh, that injury against Dallas looked really bad. I mean, Middleton's injury last year before everything got shut down looked really bad as well. I mean, that was scary. And he's going to be out for a considerable amount of time, and there's not a whole lot of give with those skates, especially with those sharp edges, and just can get stuck on the ice there. So at this point, well, let's see, we're at 36 minutes with 40 people watching. We'll throw it to the chat and see what you guys have to say. Now you have two conversation starters. Oh, bro, McKinnon throwing Garland's helmet at him. Here's the funny thing about that. So you can't throw the helmet at him, and he got him smack in the face. I mean, Garland wasn't even ready for it. Freaking. I mean, Nathan McKinnon. I was surprised. What was it? Only a 10-minute misconduct? I mean, it was just crazy to see that. But Donsk gets a hat trick, and like Colorado scores like 5 in like the first, or 6. Excuse me. Thank you. 6 in 2.5 minutes. My God, I wish we could have offense like that. I don't think I've ever seen that like that. So good on the Colorado Avalanche. And Kevin, you hit it right on the head. Speaking of Middleton, congrats to his brother Keaton Middleton for earning a contract with the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, former San Jose Barracuda Keaton Middleton gets a contract there. So, and I like how Patrick Tyler Bobrovsky better be looking over his shoulder. Yeah, I mean, they're have fun with that, because you're going to that might be one goaltender you lose in the expansion draft with Seattle. Give me a name for that one, because I've heard good things about him. I just can't think of his name offhand. So, and Kevin saying if it was Blickfeld, the hit or the thrown helmet would have been 5 games. Yeah, of course. McDavid's high hit the other night. Strangely, I thought that was a little bit of a butt end too on Kakaniemi. And it kind of reminded me about the Couture one on Carter, which is like, But you notice how did he get fined? I mean, really, did he get fined for that? No, of course not, because he's Connor Mother Puckin McDavid. So Spencer Knight, that's it. Still bewilders me that the Cats drafted the top goalie in 2019 and Spencer Knight then turned around and gave Bob 7 times 10. That's a poisonous contract. So they got a dilemma on their hands. Yeah, they do. Who do you expose? Do you take the chance and expose Bobrovsky? Then again, I don't know if he has a full no move in Florida. That might be one that may not be. Let me pull up Cap Friendly really quick as I went here. Oh, McDavid was fined $5,000. Really, $5,000. $5,000. We're really doing that. Just $5,000 for that. Okay, that'll show him. Let's see here. Yeah, Bobrovsky has a full no move, so he's guaranteed to be, unless he's willing to go to Seattle, he's guaranteed to be in there. But Chris Drager has been pretty good as well for the Panthers. So Drager, not Darren Drager, who likes to take shots at Erik Karlsson, So, All right. Well, we appreciate the 31 likes. We hit the 40-minute mark. Unfortunately, we did not get the donation for the wraparound, so we'll leave you there. We'll leave you on suspense on what Buffalo did to Philadelphia tonight. So, oh well. But Friday night, the Sharks will be in LA to take on the Los Angeles Kings. That's a 7 p.m. start. It's a huge game for both teams. So I know they'll both want to not go to overtime unless they absolutely need to. So. Dude, what's with the open mic and the sepia screen? I think they got the Snapchat filter, or they were using Al Martinez's camera for for that game earlier. This is the tough part, is that we're not allowed to show any game footage, and in that instance, along with some of the other things I've been talking about tonight, you can't. The sepia screen, that's great. So, oh shoot, and Ruben throwing down the Ruben. Aren't you at work right now? Are you at work right now doing this? I mean, I appreciate it, and the open mic. I know it kind of gives it a cool behind the scenes look. And I think Ruben had mentioned it. I had mentioned it. And of course, Mama Janice Baker Kinney, their stage manager for Sharks games, was right there. Kind of just saying, hey, we got this fixed, new headset for Hetty, and it just was picking up a little bit too much. And of course, you get the behind the scenes, and it's like, come on, Hetty, just drop a bomb, just do it, because we know he's full of what he wants to say, because he inadvertently says sorry, Hunter, at times. Of course, off day for 21 pucks. All right. Cool. All right. So you want to wrap around here? I'll even give you the full video too. Why not?
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
No. Why would I give you the video? Because I need to take a drink of water so I can get through this. All right. Leafs win 3-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. San Ramon native Austin Matthews with his 24th on the season. That takes care of that. Connor Hellebuyck, I mean, he really didn't hella suck, but he wasn't as good as Jack Campbell in this one. And you wonder if Jack Campbell is going to be the guy going into playoffs for the Leafs, as Freddie Anderson is still on the shelf at the moment. You know who had a night? The Buffalo Sabres. The frickin' Buffalo Sabres ended their 18-game streak, finally. And like I was saying with the Flyers, there's probably Flyers fans that are like, okay, we just had Zibanejad go off on us. Then we came back in overtime to beat Buffalo, and now you just lay an egg against Buffalo. You could say it's any of those nights, but also at the same time, the Flyers, what the heck? Elliot, where have you gone since you lost to the Sharks in the conference final? Colorado 9, Arizona 3. I mean, usually I don't like to describe the plays by Judas Jenneret. Yeah, I've been told not to do impressions anymore, unfortunately, but you can roll the highlight film on that one for sure, because Buffalo needed that one. Back to Colorado and Arizona. Jonas Donskoy, 404. Andre Burakovsky, 430. Mark Delnor, 536. Donskoy at 604, and then Donskoy at 731. He got to goals 13, 14, 15 in there, and they scored 5 goals in 3 minutes and 27 seconds. My goodness. I mean, come on. That's crazy. So kudos to Colorado on that big win. Another big win that doesn't help the Sharks, though, unfortunately. The Vegas Golden Knights lose to the LA Kings 4-2. If your name starts with an A, whether it's your first name or your last name, you were pretty good for LA. Athanasiu, Anderson Dolan, Alex Alafalo. I mean, might as well count him as well. As the Kings win in that one 4-2. And then, of course, Vancouver and Calgary were postponed. Canucks player have a player in COVID protocol right now as we speak. So, getting comments from Twitter. Leonard, I don't know if you're watching. You're replying on Twitter, so good to see you, bud. Kaprizov's skating and puck control makes me think of players like Pavel Bure and Peter Forsberg. Whoa. That's some high praise, Sharks last saying, Sharks PR letting everyone know that Burnsy within 1 for 500 career assists. Bitchin'. So one thing we do want to mention, it is Hockey is for Everyone night, and the Sharks have done a heck of a job with the warm-up jerseys up for auction. Those will be up for auction throughout the next couple of days, along with the sticks with a pride tape all over it. The Sharks have really been, over the last year or so, have been really trying to be as inclusive as possible. And it's good to see because, hockey is for everyone. And it doesn't matter what your race is, which gender you express, whatever identity you have. This is where the whole Teal Together thing comes to play. This is why I kind of started the Sharks, the Sharks tweet up. Because it's not, there's me, there's you, there's the guy next to you, there's the neighbor next to you. We all come from all different places. We all don't live together and everything, but when we rock our Teal, we're together, man. Seriously. So check out the jerseys. Of course, I think the team shop have the face masks that both Han and Hetty were rocking. I think even some of the players were rocking some as they're coming into the building tonight as well. So, yeah. Of course, you say jerseys. Wait till my jerseys are done. Oh, yes. If you haven't seen AJ's pet project on his warm-up jerseys. So, anyhow. That, I think, will do it for us. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Reddit, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart Radio, and always available at tealtownusa.com. We'll be back with you on Friday night. Hopefully I have somebody to feed off of following Sharks and Kings. That's a 7 p.m. start on NBC Sports California. And then, of course, get back over here for After Dark. So do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That'll notify you when you go on the air. So maybe, you might see AJ over in the Discord. We'll see. I'm sure he has some things to say about tonight's game himself. So, I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Appreciate each and every one of you. And until Friday night, keep it real, keep it Teal, keep it real Teal. Stay cool out there. And like Sharks Last just said, stay hydrated, Puckeye. Wait, see, that's the tough about doing this with the... There you go. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you on Friday.